what you could if you wanted to be the talk of the party for all the wrong reasons. And now I'm going to show you how I put the boning in the dress. Now what boning is pretty self-explanatory. It's like a skeleton for the dress. It'll give it some structure and foundation. It'll give it a nice silhouette on the outside. And because I am working with a strapless dress here, it'll also give you some much needed support. There's no straps to hold it up, and you can't wear a traditional bra. What you could if you wanted to be the talk of the party for all the wrong reasons. But by putting these bones in, it'll give you some much needed support for that dress. And I didn't do the hand motions. Proud of myself for that. It's not that kind of a show. But anyway, as you may have guessed, bones used to be made out of actual bone. I believe it was whale bone. These days it's plastic or metal. I use plastic because it's easier to work with. I hear metal is better. Now boning comes in this fabric casing. You can use the casing to put the boning into the dress. You need the bones to go into something. Now some patterns will tell you to cut pieces of ribbon to use as the casing, but I figure since you get the casing, you may as well use it. It doesn't really make any difference to me, and it doesn't seem to be any rhyme or reason to whether a pattern tells you to use the casing or not. So I would just take the bone all the way out and cut the casing the length I need, and helpfully the patterns will give you their placement lines. These lines show you how long the bone should be, and you just cut the casing a little bit longer and you sew it right on to the garment foundation piece, as I have already done here. Okay, this is the foundation piece. This is what will make the dress look nice and smooth on the outside. As you can see, I have multiple layers of interfacing. I got the iron-on kind, and then I got another kind here. I don't know exactly what it is, but it's pretty strong, so that's good interfacing. And then I sewed these together. It also had me put the dress hangers sewed into the foundation, which is a neat little feature. This is just ribbon. And on the inside, I did the lower edge with the serger machine. The instructions want me to do a rolled hem, like this. But I don't want this bulkiness, so what I'm going to do, I just have this edge finished. I'll press it up, just sew it flat like that, and you won't see it from the inside. This is going to be facing the body right here. It's going to be like that. You can see I already put most of it on. For the most part, they go right along on the seam, like so. This one was in the middle of a piece, so what I did is I just marked the interfacing before I sewed it on. Just 2 dots because it's a straight piece. And sewed it on like that. So, I'm going to show you the last 2. I'm going to start by measuring 5/8, because that's going to be the seam allowance for the top. I can place the top of this right there. And just put a pin just to hold it for now. It's 5/8, and then I'm going to bring it all the way down. I'm going to cut like that. Maybe put another pin in it. So the pins on the outside should be right down that seam. There we go. Very nice. Gotta make sure. Gotta put this from one side to the other. I gotta have to do one side at a time and flip it around, so I'm not catching that. Not catching that little ribbon there. Now, one of the things that the patterns will tell you to do is to create the whole foundation, which means cutting all the casings, all the bones, trimming them, getting them all sewn into the foundation before you attach it. I don't like to do that for two reasons. Number one, when it has all these bones in it, it's hard to get it into the machine. It tries to fight you. And number two, you're going to be assuming that all of your seams and lengths are cut perfectly even. And that's just not the case. There's 8 bones in here, and odds are that one of them is going to be uneven, which means you'll have to take the bone out and trim it again. And I'd rather just trim them once. So my trick to that is just to slip the bone in after I've already put the casings on and attached the foundation to the dress. I put the bone in, and then it'll go all the way to the end, and then I know it can't be longer than that. And I just mark it with my pen, wherever it is, right at the edge of the casing here. Then I got that end, the length it needs to be, and then I'll cut it about 1/8 of an inch shy, and then I'll trim and put it in. Now I also have to mention that when I trim the bones, I prefer to use an old pair of scissors. I don't like to use my good Fiskars scissors because cutting through plastic dulls them. So I use a pair of scissors I don't care about. And to trim it, what I do is I go to this corner at a 60-degree angle. Then I cut the new corner again at a 45-degree. I do both sides just the same. Because you're not going to be able just to cut one round, smooth cut. It takes at least 4 cuts, and then I trim using way inside the scissors, right up near the hilt. I just rock them back and forth to cut all these little spurs off. It's nice and smooth. You can try using a nail file to get them smooth. I'm not sure how much success you'll have at that. Do the other side the same way. 60, 45, 60, 45. Round them off. Okay, that's good. Stick it in my dress. Okay. And once I got all those in, I'm just going to fold this edge over. So right up along the bottom edge, just seal that right in. And then the sticks will be perfect.